Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Ag Up World podcast. I'm your host, Tyrion Parker, and as you know, we are here to cultivate knowledge, grow conversations, and harvest solutions for the future. Today's episode, we are going to cultivate, continue, and create Black history, not just in February, but every single day of the year is always Black history when you are Black, okay? So today's first segment, we're going to discuss how we create Black history using the creative mindset. And to make history, we have to be able to create, and it starts in the mind. Where I got this perception from was the book, The Science of Getting Rich. And if you haven't read it, love the audiobook. You can download it on Apple Music. This is not a paid sponsorship, but it will definitely open your mind to a lot of different things. But for today's topic, Wallace Wattles discussed how a creative mindset fuels innovation. And so where are we? Here we are. Okay, great. When we talk about Black history, we usually think about the past and all of those different achievements and struggles and the breakthroughs that we went through, but we are literally creating Black history every single day through the world, through the things that we create, build, and innovate, the barriers that are being broken in every single field that you could ever think of. And so the power of a creative mindset is not just about money, it's about something way bigger. So in the book, it just states how everything starts in the mind, and you don't get ahead by competing with other people and tearing other people down. That's the competitive mindset. But instead, we get ahead and move society forward by creating. And y'all, when I look at Black history, that is exactly what we do. We don't need nobody to do what we do and create who we are and be ourselves and make those spaces. We simply just do it. And we've taken what we had and created something new from it, even if it's the smallest things that we're given, marginalized, stolen from. We are still able to thrive and create from that. When you think about it, how George Washington Carver took the peanuts and made 300 different products. Madam C.J. Walker built a beauty empire from nothing. Okay, a self-made billionaire. When people say self-made, these people literally got it out the mud from the ground up. And not just limited to inventors. She not only made Lonnie Johnson with the Super Soaker, $1 million business. We're doing the things, and not just in those sectors. Even hip hop as a culture was created as a response to a struggle that Black people are going through, a way to express themselves, and now is a global $1 billion industry. You see, Asian people rapping and dressed up like YNs, and you just sit here that's really, really what's going on here? But that's just how we are. Everybody wants to be us because of what we are able to create, and it's something that's trendy, it's something that's innovative, and it's something that it feeds your soul and it feeds society as a whole to be greater. And so Black creativity is always going to fuel innovation of society when we are using our ability to create, whether it's in science, technology, music, fashion, food, it's everything. The research on gynecology was experimented on by a Black woman. That information, that knowledge came from us. Every race that you see can be created by the genome of a Black woman. So if that ain't telling you that we are here to create, then I don't know what else to tell you. God is able to live through us and express himself through us by us being created in his image and likeness. And if he can create the world in 7 days, what can you do to create the future? So yeah, what are that's our question. If we want to make history, we have to be in creation mode and not just in consumption mode. We always want to buy this, do this, that. Let's start thinking about what we can build, shape, and continue to keep this innovation going. and not just be, oh, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna take that, I'm gonna build up Versace. No, make your own brand, and that's why I love my people, and that's why I love to support Black businesses. We ain't got there yet, but literally, somebody gonna always put something on a little hoodie, little sweatshirt, little something, little pants set, maybe a little hat brand, just be your own creator. So our next segment is continuing Black history with Coach Simmons and myself. Okay, so creating is a powerful thing, because we going back to that. However, the more that we understand that our lives are only so short, we understand that we have to continue the work that has been started by others. So if we want to make real change, we want to be a part of the path that our ancestors have set forth for us. And somebody who is doing that to this day is Reverend Raphael G. Warnock. He is continuing the fight in such major ways, because he's not just a senator, he's a preacher, a social justice advocate, a voice for our people. His work is deeply rooted in the struggles of our ancestors, and he's fighting battles today that have been going on for generations and generations.
Oh, yes. I joined the church in 2007, and he had already been there for a while. And Senator Warnock, even then, had been locked up 13 times. In retrospect, Martin Luther King was locked up almost 33 times in his lifetime for his fight for social justice. And so definitely someone who picks up the torch and keeps rolling is Reverend Senator Dr. Raphael G. Warnock. When we talk about that he was the youngest pastor selected in leadership to take over the Freedom Church, which says a lot. We want to experience people who are, this is probably one of the first churches that combine the politics and church of life. And so can they work together? Yes, they can. And actually the church can serve as a powerful force in social justice.
As it should.
Okay. And he has been a minister since a child. People wonder, like, is he a real pastor? He has been, his Sisters and Brothers was his first congregation. And anybody who was raised in a Black church knows that people who have the lineage, who have been touched to preach, usually have subjected their siblings to their ministry. And also, he is the very first Black senator from Georgia. Okay, that is a really big deal. Georgia is still a red state. Don't be fooled about anything. We are a red state, and
Atlanta kind of Black, so that can make you think it's a whole bunch of Black people in Georgia. Like, no, once you get outside of Atlanta, good old boys.
Okay. Yes. And so, real talk. And so this man, again, he was born in Savannah in the projects. And so he definitely knows the real struggles. When I think of Jesus, he would come and walk with the lost, with the poor. He's coming to those who are blind, who need hope. And Warnock definitely has had his place around and amongst the lost. And what has he done? He's helped pass legislation to create jobs. He's brought advocacy and service into the Senate and charges other senators in his circle and around his circle to start thinking differently. He's championed effects to cap insulin costs, which was done for our seniors who they've been taken advantage of, even economically. He was re-elected again to a full 6-year term where we know he's going to continue his work. He is currently serves on the Agriculture, Nutrition, and Forestry committees, which is a big deal to us. So what has he done? Literally write legislation. That is what we want. You can't just talk about being an advocate. You can't talk about lobbying and, we want to change things. Someone has to write the laws, write the policy. And he is doing that. He is taking the time to put the words together to again stand up for justice, diversity, equity, inclusion, DEI. That in Italian or Latin is stands for God. I mean, you can Google it. It's nothing that, you know. I'm not saying anything that is, you know, beyond what you can reach. No, I don't speak Latin or Greek or anything but English. But DEI stands for God. And again, we have to recognize the work that is being done.
So like black farmers in Georgia, well, not just in Georgia, they once owned over 50 million acres of land in this country, but due to discrimination and systemic barriers, that number has dropped to less than 2 million acres today. So when you talk about like diversity, equity, and inclusion, equity means that we all start at a level playing field. That doesn't mean that we get the same resources to start. Meaning if I'm 10 feet behind you, then I need to get 10 feet up. We might still be on the same playing field, but I'm 10 feet behind. That's not fair. That's not equitable. So how do we bridge those gaps? We're not fought to make sure that farmers had loan forgiveness and land restoration and we're experiencing fair agriculture policies to keep black farmers in the industry, because they're being shut out by those large farmers whose families took the land.
Took the land. That's how they became large farmers.
Let's just say it. Let's just say it for what it is.
Yeah, how did they get to be 10,000 acres and more? You stole that.
One of the youngest black millionaires, her family owned land out in, like, I want to say it was like Oregon or somewhere, and literally she was a millionaire because they found oil on that land, but because there wasn't anybody in her family to manage it correctly, they had white people trying to come in and steal the land. And literally that has happened to so many people, like how, you know, last week's episode,
Dr. Jean Young.
Dr. Jean was discussing about how we have so much that is taken from us, and there are people here who are still fighting today to get back what was theirs. And not just only that, I appreciate Reverend Warnock. That's why I go to this church, is because of his social justice advocacy, just trying to help people in general, helping homeless people, helping children, feeding the hungry. It does not stop there. You know, our church is very active in ending mass incarceration, and the prison system has been used to keep our people locked down for centuries since slavery. That is the only legal form of slavery to this day, is if you are a criminal. That is the 13th Amendment. And so he literally sat here and fought so that the punishment for crack cocaine is equivalent to that of powder cocaine, which he advocated for to President Biden himself, and was which allowed for a lot of people to get released early from those charges, which is again equity situation. How is it the same drug but different consequences? And so when we think about what can we do, we have to speak up and fight for the things that we believe are right, and that is going to help continue the fight of our ancestors. Because yes, they got voting rights, but if we're still having to fight for voting rights today, Raphael G. Warnock is still fighting for voting rights today, and we're still sitting here seeing that there are people trying to steal your voting rights, steal your vote.
Yeah, you know it's important if they're trying to
throw away the ballots.
They're trying to keep you away from the voting. You know, it's important. Yeah, we just really appreciate, again, Warnock's life, his faith, his advocacy, and his policies that he continuously lives by. He is an example of Black history being created and cultivated. And yes, and he is even intentionally making sure that his congregation is diverse. Every Sunday, he is always making sure that people understand that the Black church wasn't nothing that we chose. The Black church came because they wouldn't allow us in a church. But our Black church includes everybody. okay? Because we're in charge of everybody. When you really start walking in your kingdom, your queendom, then you understand that you are responsible for them all. And it's okay, because guess what? You have the power, you have the creativity to help everyone get to the next level. The world is waiting on to see what is Black people finna do next. What are they going to do? We forced them in a corner. Let's see how they get out of this thing. I'm excited too. I can't wait to see how we get out of this thing again. So yes, keep on living Black history every day.
Yes, because Black history is happening now, and we're the ones carrying it forward. And so his leadership is not just a reminder of, how to continue Black history. It's also how we are continuing to live. Like, what battles are you going to continue to fight for Black history? Let us know, comment down below, just a little something. Tell us what you gonna do.
Yeah,
how are you gonna do it? How are we gonna help fight the battles?
Yeah, you got battles right now. Are you fighting or are you losing on purpose? Yeah. Fight to win, because you can win the fight. Yeah, like
fight to win because you can win the fight. Okay.
All right. Well, I was so privileged, you guys, to attend the SOWTH event conference this past week. It was awesome. It was hosted by Georgia Organics, and everybody was there. It included 14 states, including Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. So we had farmers and ranchers from everywhere. They had the best resources, the best panelists. It was just the time of my life. And of course, I was there as a volunteer. So I got to go everywhere and see everybody. So I'm just going to review with you guys this past week's events. It was awesome. First, we went to the Global Growers Network. And I'm all about business. And this particular farm that we toured is all about cooperatives. So this was just a lay of the land. It was about 12 acres that they have, and they just went through everything from the different plots that they were leasing out to individuals who are interested in farming, people who actually have businesses and needed to grow for their businesses. They had equipment that they leased to their participants. It was just an awesome tour, a great farm tour of a cooperative that is actually happening right now. A lot of the tools that they got, of course, was from the Athens Land Trust. And we all know Joy, who is up there, one of our Black women farmers who runs the Athens Land Trust Cooperative Garden, has taught so many. So the Global Growers Network is also just a mirror of the things that they're doing up in Athens. And it also can give us some ideas of how should we come together as a cooperative. Also at the event, they had different workshops for everybody around reparative grow, community farming, and of course my favorite, GAP certification. And I have some footage, a little bit of what our instructor was trying to pass over. But as we know, GAP certification is very important. GAP stands for Good Agriculture Practices. And these are just usually what's needed to go into the market. People need to know exactly what you're doing on your farm from beginning to end. And so GAP certification is an audit that allows a third party to come in and prepare your farm for GAP certification. Again, it is all about getting to the market. So we're going to further tour Global Growers Network as well and see how they have their farms set up for good agriculture practices. And right after that, we'll catch some footage from our instructor on GAP certification.
Let's talk about a good 5 minutes. The storage facility. Definitely a place for cleaning and processing, looks like. You got your crates, cleaning supplies. This farm has been GAP certified. You can tell. This looks like it used to be a horse stable. Sure they don't keep horses in here anymore. Looks like a horse stable. At some point. This place is huge. Equipment. Huh? Can't beat the pond. Now they used to dig these for the animals, calling them watering holes. Then they realized that animals was contaminating their own water. So imagine how fast disease spreads. So they no longer use this as watering troughs, but they do serve as beautiful landscape design for people to enjoy. So if you got a watering hole, can't use it for the animals anymore, but you definitely can sit some chairs out, charge $1 or $2 to get in.
Loxon Heritage Farm is my name. Loxon Heritage Farm LLC.com is my website. I do have some business cards if anyone is interested as well. So yeah, they were very helpful in learning like certified organic policies, ways to do things you have to keep up with, especially with like logs, things of that nature. So like Drew said, in March 1st, I'll be moving to the backside of Miyuki's plot. I've got plans to put up some small infrastructure things like a geodesic greenhouse. I'm going to try to build a solar dehydrator this year, veggie wash station for like root vegetables.
Right now, this is Miyuki's field. She is the farmer down there who made the tea. That tea was grown on this plot here, the lemongrass and the roselle. She specializes in medicinal herbs and herbalism products. So we don't have enough.
Some big equipment for rent.
Equipment. We don't have that the farmer really wants. We can purchase that for them. Anything in the gray container. There's also just a basic toolbox, hammer, pliers, things like that. Anything in the gray
Some
container,
meat.
farmers have access to at any point.
This
Like I said earlier,
too
Todd and I are out here 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday. Farmers are welcome to come out anytime they want. Staff does not have to be on the property. They have access to this shed even on weekends or late afternoon, whenever it is they come out. Some of the stuff out here, the wheelbarrows and carts, things like that, are also included in the cost of the ramp. We do have protocols around once you have, taken your stirrup hoe out.
And of course, your GAP certified cleaning and processing place to cold storage. Refrigerators, very clean place. Aprons, I like to see aprons. Please mix, sanitize, clean cloths, clean rag, clean up bags. Clean. Everything's clean.
educational reading materials that farmers want can hopefully provide for them to read as they like. They're welcome to take those home as long as they bring them back as well. And then in here, I'm gonna walk into our wash pack.
They're using the horse stalls.
So our wash pack was designed intentionally with the idea of flexibility and being used by multiple farms and farmers. At the moment, we've got
It's a great way to use the horse stalls. Storage for each person.
almost everything in here is on casters or on wheels, so it is movable and flexible.
Again, GAP certified.
The general idea is dirty produce comes in through the door that we just walked through and then lands here. This is the washing area.
Dirty produce
We've got
come here.
sink over here with overhead hose. Back behind there, we've got those basins that I was talking about on casters. Those can be wheeled over here, filled up here. There are drains in those tubs, and then we've got floor drains here and
Yes, I cannot go without talking about the infamous people of the South Conference. It was a joyous time. It literally brought together 14 different states and 2 territories that I know of. Puerto Rico was there, and so was the Virgin Islands. And most importantly, it brought a lot of the Georgia farmers and ranchers and Black civil rights leaders, people who are pushing for Black communities and Black food, wealth, and so it was an awesome event. Rashid Nouri was there. He is one of the founders of Truly Living Well, the first and foremost urban farm in the city of Atlanta, Georgia. He's in 3 places now, and you can catch him speaking. He's retired. The good thing is he was there to see that young people are still trying to carry on the torch to help our communities, to get fresh food to our communities. It was a real joy to see him there. Alfred Greenlee, the guy featured to my left, my right, your left, is one of the leaders of the Southern Farmers Collaborative Group. It is located near Albany, and again, they are too supporting farmers and helping them to get their farms together, to get to the resources they need, even to have their own processing plant. To my left, your right, Henry Jones. You may know him. He is a member of the Atlanta Black Chambers, but I know him as a farmer in the Carolinas. He has probably 21 greenhouses, and so yeah, he is a prominent leader too in the hydroponics, and I think he's trying to get into normal agriculture. But yes, Henry Wells. Look at this. From the Resora, Jeffrey Hicks. He's the new farm manager over there. The Resora, of course, was started by Charles Sherrod and Shirley Sherrod Institute. And yes, they got about 1,600 acres over there. They're doing big things. And Jeffrey Hicks is in charge. You may know him from NARAB. He used to be the president of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. And so, yeah, he's big time when it comes to finance. And so look out for him and the big things they're doing over at Resora. This is one of my favorite people, Freddie Hagan. He is a veteran and one of my support staff in the area near Savannah, Augusta area. He helps with farmers. He helps with GAP certification. He is also connected with the food stamp program. He has a reefer truck. So he does a lot of good, again, in the southeast region of Georgia, doing great things for our farmers. And OMG. Of course, it was my pleasure to be there with Noreen Whitehead, who is the Georgia chapter chair for the National Women in Agriculture. And she helped me to get into that event as a volunteer. So thanks again, Noreen, and all the big things that you guys are doing right here. And she is in about 18 counties now. And so, yes, you go, Noreen. Two of my favorite people. In the middle is a star. Her name is Millie Coleman. She's a fifth generation farmer. She has IT degrees. She is a welder, has a welder certification, just an all around great person. And she, again, is my agriculture specialist for Agripreneurs, the nonprofit that I started. All the way over there is Vontice Jackson, and she is a VIP. She is one of the NRCS outreach specialists in the southeast region of Georgia, doing great things, helping farmers and ranchers get into those conservation programs, get to that those grant monies, offer them assistance, and yes, Vontice Jackson, VIP. OMG, we cannot say enough about this man. This is Charlie Grace, NRCS. He is the outreach coordinator, and he is on the southwest region of Georgia. But I have to owe everything to him. He started the record keeping program at Fort Valley State University before he got promoted to NRCS. He also was responsible for dragging me around and just showing me the different farms, pig farms, peanut farms. And so I just really appreciate all his help, and it was great seeing him there at the South Conference. You may not know this guy, but he is infamous as well. His name is James Ford. Okay, Square Oak Consulting. They have been helping farmers in the South region for a very long time, 20 plus years. Square Oak Consulting, again, can help you with farm plans, help you again with your grants, and getting your farms up to par. This man is a legend in the game, Mr. James Ford. It was a pleasure seeing him there. One of the cattle farmers. And so it is so important to understand generational wealth and bringing in your family. And these guys here definitely did a great job of connecting with their family, getting branded, doing what they need to do for the berry farms. So go berry farms, cattle farms. Southwest Georgia Project, Felicia Burke. Yes, so Charles and Shirley Sherrod continue their work, of course, near the Albany area. They created a organization called the Southwest Georgia Project, and it literally supports farmers in all areas. They are a great resource if you don't know where to begin. Southwest Georgia Project is it, and Felicia Burke is new, and oh my gosh, she is hit the ground running. As you can see, she's ready to assist you with your farm. I met this lady first. This is Karen Lawrence, and she's been with the Southwest Georgia Project since it began. And so, yes, and she's helped me out a lot with just filling out, knowing where it is, how to fit in, who to partner with. And so, shout out Karen Lawrence of the Southwest Georgia Project. OMG, this is Dr. Darlene Williams. I was fortunate to meet her several years ago. Her husband has passed now, but she inherited a muscadine farm, 11 acres, and Dr. Darlene has been phenomenal with learning about farming, learning about muscadines, and so Robert's Vineyard, which she is the owner of, also gives out great wine, muscadine wine, strawberry wine, and so you got to get over there to Robert's Vineyard. And Dr. Darlene is located near Byron, Georgia, but yes, one of those great farmers who's doing great things to help other farmers get ahead. If you don't know this guy, it's because you haven't been getting around. Still call him Dean Ralph Noble. Dean Ralph Noble, okay? Even though he's no longer the dean over at Fort Valley State University, when he did come in, he came in running, helping, organizing, just doing great things. He's a very open-minded, mature man and full of knowledge. And so when I say AI, he says AI, but he definitely means artificial insemination. He works with cattle, and that is one of his big things, animal science. And so, yes, AI for him stands for artificial insemination. He's over at South Carolina State now. But yes, shout out to Ralph Noble. Dr. Ralph Noble. And yes, this man is always running for me. This is the Handy Kennedy. And yes, and we go way back. And so Handy Kennedy is the owner of HKJ Farms. He's also one of the founders of the Agri Unity Cooperative. They are a main reason why farmers are able now to get their Angus beef into the market. And so he's working really hard again to establish a good foundation and resources for farmers and ranchers in Georgia. This is John Little. And so he works with Macintosh Seeds. He's one of the founders of Macintosh Seed. They are people who help you get in order for grants, and they also host grants. And so are able to, again, help you to prepare Macintosh Seed. They help farmers all over. And I know he is also a board member of the Southern Farmers Land Retention Group, which is about 7 states, and they help people who have land and how to make money with that. So it was good to see John Little there as well. This man here, Brennan Washington. So if you don't know about Southern SARE, you need to get into it. Sustainable Agriculture Research and Education. And so Mr. Brennan Washington announced at this event that they have millions of dollars that they'll be giving out in March. So you guys definitely watch out for that information there. Yep, through SARE, and they have their own website. They're in different regions. Mr. Brennan Washington is representing the Southern SARE, and so definitely get on that website in March or sooner to find out what monies does he have for us, right? Shirley Sherrod, again, she was there. She was a panelist giving her insight. I have a small clip that I want to play from her talking on the panel. It was just very enlightening to just see the work that has been done for the farmers and ranchers. She's a Black activist. Her husband Charles Sherrod just passed recently, and she is still carrying on the torch along with her son and son-in-law and her family. They have the Charles Sherrod Institute, Southwest Georgia Project, the Resora. They are, again, providing a platform or resources for farmers who are trying to get into the market, a way to learn. And we just really appreciate everything Shirley Sherrod has done. And we hope that we make her proud as we carry on the torch in supporting farmers and ranchers. That conference was awesome. It was so many more people there than what I listed, but we didn't want to take up all the time in speaking about just the infamous people that showed up there. It was a great conference again, and just glad I was there.
What happened, but you couldn't get any kind of help with that. But in spite of all that they tried to do to run us off and to make our farming not be successful, we were still on a roll and doing quite well, farming about 1,800 acres. We had a 75 brood sow operation, and instead of just taking the hogs in to be sold to the market, we had them slaughtered inspected and brought back to the farm. So we were known for the cured meats that we had, and you know, we had a big greenhouse there beside the highway. We had an old-fashioned smokehouse, and that brought people in because children, you know, they went out and did, you know, cut the logs on the farm and made the smokehouse there. We made sugarcane syrup right there by the highway, and all of that pulled people in, and we were still, during that time, having to do the civil rights work in the area. So as we were trying to hold on to this land by farming, people were still having issues with being killed or other things happening to them in the counties, and it was something we had to respond to. We were on a roll though. We were able to pay the land debt and couldn't build houses and implement the plan, but we could hold on to the land. And then about 1977, there was a drought. We made it through that year. Then we had another drought, and we couldn't make it through that year without trying to get emergency loans like all farmers were getting, even those plantation owners with 30-some thousand acres and 20-some thousand acres. We learned later that they were getting the loans that were being denied to us. We were in a 3-year fight just to try to get an emergency loan with continued drought. And one of the ways black people have lost land through the years, they have to give Farmers Home Administration a lien on all available assets. And once they get a lien on your assets, then they can engineer the foreclosure. They can make your loans late. You can apply in December, and if you finally got a loan, it might be June. But the optimum time for the fertilizer and other inputs is over. You know, so even when you plant, it's going to be, you won't get the yields you should have gotten. So then they can criticize you for having low yields when in fact they caused it. You know, so that's happened. It didn't just happen to us. It's happened to black farmers through the years, and that's one of the ways we have lost land. So
thank you again for joining Ag Up World, where we are growing, planting, and harvesting together. So I hope you've enjoyed and learned a lot from the SOWTH Conference and everything. So please like and subscribe. We are going to start putting out good information all the time. We're getting content together and ready for our audience. News you can use, okay? Thank you so much again, you guys. And put in a comment about, you know, how, again, what battles are you fighting? What are you doing this month to further Black history, you know, through our children, through our co-workers? We are still learning our history, so it's important that we all make a conscious effort.
Right. Yes. So send this to somebody too. Like somebody that you think about, like, oh yeah, no, they definitely, they woke. They hashtag woke. They would watch this. Send it to that person, because you know, it's about empowering each other and coming together. And that is our last segment. How do we cultivate Black history? Because we talked about creating it through innovation and continuing it through advocacy, but there's one thing that we can do together. Is you can do it alone, but together it works a lot better. So we have to cultivate Black history by empowering each other and building our community. That's what Ag Up World is about. Agriculture for a united people. One of the biggest lies that society tells us is that you have to compete to succeed. You have to be the best at something to succeed, and that's not true. You know, the civil rights movement was built upon us coming together to achieve a common goal, and that was a collective effort. So we have to empower each other by cultivating our own history together.
Yeah, it's important that, you know, sometimes we think money is everything, but it's all about the creative process. If I haven't said it one time, many times, write the vision, make it plain. We need to be able to, if I had a meeting with investors, with people with some money, and you couldn't be there, you don't want me talking for you. Go ahead and put it on paper, word for word. You can put your own words in quotes. Let people know exactly what is the vision, what is the purpose. No one is receiving this vision but you, okay? No one has this purpose but you. You have to write this thing down, carry it out. And then guess what that means? If I hand it to Terrian, or if I hand it to that next person, they can run with it. They can empower you. Okay, we're talking about building community and empowerment. Yes. We need you for that. We need you to help build community and empower each other by sharing your vision. You know, all the people that we talk to, a lot of their lives is about volunteering. That means something that's not a part of how they make money. You know, it's not about what they can get out of it, but what they can put back in. So give people the opportunity to empower you, to help build community. Step out of your skin, volunteer, give back. That is so important to what we're trying to do here.
One word that sticks out to me is gatekeeping. We love to talk about gatekeeping, and a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not gatekeeping. We see that more and more because knowledge is empowering. It's free. At the end of the day, just because you don't tell me something don't mean that I can't look it up and find that information. So why not just go ahead, share somebody. If you got a skill set, pass it on, whether it's business, technology, farming, or just financial literacy, like teach someone else. And again, that energy is going to come back to you. This is my belief. But at the end of the day, like if you are younger, you need to seek out mentors and people who are doing the things that you want to do.
Yeah.
I want to be a millionaire. I'm not going to be walking around studying 100,000naires. I'm going to go to the people who have made $1 million, because that's how you get the knowledge. You got to make it make sense. I'm not
be bold.
The people around you in your circle, if you are surrounded by 10 people who are the same as you, then how are you ever going to elevate? You want to, continue to empower yourself by sharing knowledge and also seeking knowledge. So that's how we cultivate, as well as economic empowerment. How we touched on like financial literacy. We have to start building generational wealth through ownership and financial literacy. Like research your last name. Figure out
is that?
Who you are, what trusts are in your name, what deeds are in your name. If you got some land that belongs to you somewhere, figure it out. We don't know who our ancestors are. I'm Black, I'm American. Where? From where?
What Native American?
How am I African American? I ain't never been to Africa.
Right, so you never know. Like, then our people, Africa. And this is where we be slipping. You thinking that our grandfathers and great grandfathers, they just died? No, they worked real hard for us to get where we are. Okay, I have a friend whose father left him land. It's in a trustee. He couldn't even find it. But guess what? Research found it for him. So look into your last name, look into your heritage. Just because you think you came from nothing, you did not come from nothing. You came from everything and anything that is anything. Okay, like that's who we are.
Yeah, when you do you got 2 parents, you got 4 grandparents, you got 8 great grandparents, 16, so on, so forth. So it's like 16,000 people that contributed to your existence of being here. If you don't think that you important, that you don't have a purpose on this planet, make it make sense.
Yeah, you're here for a reason and not a reason.
They fought so that you could be here. They fought so that their genes could be carried on this evolution. So the process of evolution is to get better. So if you were not the better version of your ancestors, then you would not be here. So continue on and pass that legacy on. Another thing with economic empowerment is like supporting Black businesses. Like I was talking about, y'all so quick to buy Gucci and Versace when Daddy on the corner trying to sell his hoodies, and you won't support him. Talking about, you trying to charge $40 for a hoodie? Like, pay this man his $40. Like, $40.
Support him.
Pour it back into your community.
Yes.
Because, like that's it's other people that you spend money with that's not giving back to your community. We go to the nail shop. Them people is not from here. They don't live near here. They don't got nothing to do with this. And they're taking their money back to their families. They're sending their money overseas. Even like Africans, they're sending their money, selling cars, sending their money back home.
Right.
But yeah, we can't get together to support each other. And so that's why I love like pop-up shops. So it's people doing it. We're really doing it. but we have to do it be more intentional about doing it, and
supporting one another, each other, and our ideas. Stop shooting each other down. You're not gonna help nobody do nothing. You ain't got to hurt nobody doing nothing. Right. That is very important. Mental and emotional support. Okay, when I think of local communities and people trying to come together, they're trying to give back to the community. They're trying to help kids. And when you see people doing that, don't be like, oh, they don't have enough, or they're not doing enough, or they should be talking about this. Then that means you have a voice. You need to stand up. You need to share. Don't think that, oh, I'm an introvert, I haven't said anything. If you were put here on this earth, it was for a reason. I run into young people all the time, know more than they should, because it is a purpose. It is a reason behind it. So emotionally supporting each other is very important. What's wrong with calling a black man a king? You definitely, as a black woman, want to be called a queen. So we have to walk in that manner. We have to walk in our kingdomhood, our queendomhood, just like we should. If you're in charge of everything, all the money, all the people, how would you respond to your everyday people up under you? How would you respond to them? How would you help them? You wouldn't tear them down. You'd be like, hey, Manny, glad you still cooking over there. The pies is smelling fresh out the window. You're going to be supporting your people. Man, I love the way y'all are street sweeping. You know what? These rocks have never been cleaner. You have to empower each other. Right. Little things. You don't have to be fake. Be genuine about it. Be genuine in uplifting our race. The time is now. Mental and emotional support is what's going to carry this thing up to another level.
It costs $0 for you to like, share, and subscribe to somebody's stuff. I ain't gonna talk about, we can just talk about people, but in general, it don't cost nothing to compliment somebody to say, hey, you got a nice smile. Like, oh my gosh, like you really wearing that hat. That's a nice hat today.
Yes.
Because success comes from being in spaces where we feel supported. And so we need to cheer each other on, check on each other, uplift each other, remind each other that we are capable of greatness, that, I believe in you. If don't nobody else tell you, I believe in you. Right. I know that you can do whatever you put your mind to, because God gave you all the things that you needed to get it done. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you, and, somebody else who want to support you is just a phone call away. Whatever the case may be.
And the people around you who need a phone call. It's real easy to get along with folks you get along with. It's real easy to conversate with folks who got the same conversation. But what about somebody who's talking about something you are not concerned with? There is a need for you to show concern, okay? Sometimes you have to step out of yourself and say, you know what? This is not something I would do every day, but I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to pay a little bit more attention to Auntie Frida down the street, who just walk and be talking to that dog all the time. I'm going to interject one day and see what it does. It causes a smile. It causes an impact. You want to change people's lives, we have to target the heart. How do we do that? With love and kindness. Yes, we have to plant love and kindness. We have to grow love and kindness. And yes, guess what? We will end up harvesting love and kindness.
All right, so here's my challenge for you. Drop a comment below. Tell us one way you're cultivating Black history, and who is someone in your life that you can empower right now. We're not just talking about Black history, we are creating it, and it starts with us. Let's keep growing, supporting, and keep making history together.
Thank you. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.